Welcome to the Finance Committee meeting of Thursday, March 7th. We have a couple of articles tonight, the snow and ice budget and the sewer and water budgets. So, Jim, unless you have anything?
No, just everybody has the information I sent out, so we're good to go. So with that, I take Article 7, I recommend Article 7 first, which is no action at this time. We currently have a balance of just, I think it's about 520, but I was talking to Rick to stack the salt shed, it's like 32 to 40,000, so call it about 500, 480, something around there, so they keep looking at the 10-day, and it's looking good. So I always say, once we get to St. Patrick's Day, we should be good to go.
Then I move for no action on Article 7.
Seconded.
Mark and Kathleen. All those in favor of no action on Article 7?
Aye.
No?
900.
900. Thank you. And so I guess Article 4 is next. And you also recommended no action on this one, Jim?
Sure. Recommending no action on that one. We checked today, Scott verified with Jody. Everything's looking good in both the operating and maintenance budgets for sewer and water, so that's more or less just a placeholder for us generally, too.
All right.
Move for no action on Article 4.
No action by Mark, second by Sue. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 9-0-0. Okay. Article 5, Scott, do you want to step up?
Water Enterprise.
So with, I'll give an introduction and hand off to you, Scott. So last evening, the Sewer and Water Commissioners met in this room, voted favorable action 4-0-0 on both the sewer and water budgets as presented to you this evening. They also voted favorable action on the capital improvement plan as presented 3-0-1 with one abstaining. Reason we asked them to consider the capital plan is we publish it in the book in the spring and the fall now. We have for some time. I just wanted to make sure they were, on board with what we, the staff, think are important. This is pretty consistent with what's up here in the book the last few years. Obviously, the biggest unknown is the MWRA connection. We're making our way through that now with our consultant, Weston and Sampson, and the town of Norwood, along with the Sewer and Water Commissioners. And that's likely going to be considered in the fall over one or two articles. I think there'll probably be a capital article, and there'll also be one article to seek authorization. And I say likely, we may just combine the whole thing into one article. I got to work with council on that one. So that's more or less where we stand now. With the proposed O&M budgets you have here, there's a 1 to just about 2.6% increase, depending on what tier you're in. If the Sewer and Water Commissioners go with our recommendations, which they're set to set the rates not until June. They did ask to add another tier in there for heavy-duty users, like some of the largest businesses in town, and we're looking at just about a 5% increase on the sewer side, with I think about 90% of that driven by the MWRA sewer assessment. I also included the retained earnings at almost 1.6 million for the water and 1.4 million for the sewer. So with that, I'll hand it off to Scott to whatever comments you may add.
Oh, these operating budgets are pretty lean. There's nothing in here that's a want. They're all needs, and they're modest increases on a few lines. Slightly, but there's no jumps in these budgets.
Okay. I have, go ahead.
Jim, on the, on the water department line for laborers, department requested 440,000, and you had recommended 430. Are you basically anticipating additional part-time help, or are you trying to keep a vacant position available in case we want to hire somebody? It's the fourth line down?
Yeah, the 449 to the 470.
Yeah.
Do you recall what? Actually, I think it was, I caught a typo on one of the, I don't remember exactly what it was. Usually every year I bring back Val to review all the budgets submitted, so she comes in and she'll notice, oh, you're off 1,000 here, they didn't factor in that step, and she picked up a couple of mistakes there.
Okay.
So we're not looking at
Just
that.
clarify. Gotcha.
Was that the same for sewer?
Yeah.
That's what I was
Yeah,
looking for. Okay, thanks.
I have a couple of similar questions. For that same line item for labor, I'm sorry, the one above that for secretarial, there is, I just need to understand where it comes from. I guess I'm on page 155 of the budget book. There's a comment about $21,036, and there's no description that goes with it. I wasn't sure, maybe it was cut off in the pages. It has to do with senior staff assistant up above, if I'm just not reading it correctly.
Usually pull it up, unless Rick or Scott, you guys recall why.
And I'm assuming it's somewhere, I just see two names and two salaries to tie out, and this one didn't have much of a description.
What tab was that, Doug? I'm sorry.
It is tab 13. Top of page 155. The top of page 155.
Yeah, do you remember which one that was?
I have the 154.
Oh, it got cut off. C4 step 2, C4 step 2, step 2. That's Derek, right? So, yeah, but he got cut off at the bottom. Yeah. So the bottom of the last page didn't carry it over the top.
I believe it's the step increase for the C4.
Yeah, it is the C4, I just wasn't, didn't pick up on that, thank you.
Okay.
You got me, Doug. That was one I wasn't prepared for.
Sorry. I'm just looking for a description, and that one just threw me off.
Usually I'm good.
Are there any other questions? Can't tell if people are still looking, or if people.
I'm trying to find my notes.
While you're looking, may I make
Please.
a comment? I just want to commend the Water and Sewer Department. I had an email about water usage and a little conversation back and forth. The irrigation meter was reporting usage, and we haven't used our irrigation system in a long time. And it wasn't a hose that would be creating that kind. Anyway, a very nice fellow came out, replaced the meter, problem solved. And so I just really appreciated the fact that guys are on top of that stuff. And again, he came exactly when he said he was gonna come, he did exactly what he said he was gonna do, and he explained everything to me, so I was able to take notes, and now I know a little bit more about meters.
I know the gentleman you're referring to, and he's very thorough.
Yeah, he's terrific, yeah, so, thank you.
Thank you for delaying so I could find my next question.
Okay.
I just had a question about legal services. I know with both water and sewer, we have new funding for the legal services, and I wasn't sure if, what's going on there.
So-
Do we know of something? or-
That was something actually when we did it was the Abrams report, or, yeah, the Pioneer report, back in 2022. One of the commissioners wanted to review all the indirect costs to make sure that they were accurately reflecting the services that the town were providing. One of the items suggested that we move was, don't stop paying legal costs for sewer and water out of the town side, pay it out of the sewer side. So that's one of the reasons why we moved it over to there.
There's a similar line for both water and sewer. But you just, did I not understand you?
So we have to do it in both budgets.
Okay.
Yeah.
The way you said you had to move it over, I thought you were taking it away from one.
No, so we moved it, instead of charging on indirect costs, whatever, it was
Okay,
20 or
I see what you
30,000. Yeah, it's no longer charged.
Mark?
I noticed that we've, in the current budget that we're in, we bumped up chemicals big time because of inflation, and now we're actually dropping the cost. Is it because we have a surplus of chemicals, or are we just seeing price drop?
No, there were chemicals that actually did increase, but there are others that decreased, so overall, there was a slight drop.
Okay.
Everybody all set?
I just have a quick question. I just noticed that the water collection rate is like 94.5%, and the sewer collection rate is 93 something. Aren't they on the same bill? Like, how can you not have the same collection rate? I don't understand how the,
There'd be people with water, but not sewer.
okay,
So not everybody has water and sewer.
that's right, okay. All right.
So if I could just add to that, we do end up collecting that at some point, if they don't pay it, it becomes liened on their real estate taxes, so eventually it will get paid.
Can I get a motion for favorable action? Is anybody- $6,220,600.
So moved. Favorable action.
Second.
Sue and Mark. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 900. And Article 6. Read the read. Was there anything, Scott, that you were gonna add on the sewer budget?
No, just that this one's pretty much dictated by the assessment of the MWRA. It's really the lion's share of this budget. There's very little else in it except for that.
Mark?
Actually, yeah, other than the MWR jumping 190,000, we've got indirect jumping by 70,000. Is there, I mean, that's kind of like a larger percentage than normal on the sewer indirect?
Oh, okay.
So what that is the benefits had shifted quite a bit. So last year we had 13 enrollees for water and sewer. And this year we had, or I should say, we're estimating, had 13 last year.
Estimating more this year.
16 this year, sorry about that. We also added 2, because of the economy and the shifting, we're concerned about, a spouse might lose a job, somebody may have to add on to our insurance.
Gotcha.
And then, of course, there's the increase taken into consideration on the rates.
Okay.
I noticed that too. I was looking at it today.
What percentage did the MWRA increases this year?
We put in an estimate of 4%.
I mean, is that firm? Do you know it's gonna be 4, or could it be more or less?
Yeah.
It's pretty firm. If anything, it'll go down, but, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a conservative number.
Let's see, I've got a question on, what is this? $6,466 under, it just says DPW contract increase, and I just wasn't sure.
We are actually, that's a placeholder for the contract that's yet to be settled.
Okay.
And we put that in there because generally with the contract, again, I think it'll be settled by October. What we usually do is we come to town meeting, ask for, the DPW contract's worth $100,000, but we build it into the sewer and water budgets so they can set the rates with that without having to mess with the rates. So,
Makes sense, it was just, I think the placeholder, had that been in there, it would have made more sense to me. And then I guess I have one question on the, my last question, I promise. On the, let's see, the expenses, you're asking for a 5% increase over the last fiscal year for electricity and the power stations. And I just wasn't sure what FY '24 was trending like. Do you have any sense of You know, 5% just seems like a random number. It's certainly higher than what we had in '23. Not a lot between the three different items. I'm just wondering how we're trending.
So year-to-date right now for electricity, it's 86%, almost 87% today.
So we're 87%, 3/4 of the way through.
Right, as of today.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else have questions about the sewer budget? In that case, does anybody want to make a favorable motion in the amount of $6,132,440?
So moved.
That was Scott.
Scott?
And I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained? 900.
Before we turn sewer and water loose, just a quick question on the potential capital for the fall. Billing, is that just the cost of generating monthly bills, or are we looking at creating a new billing system that would auto-bill for $450,000?
Good question. This was something that the commissioners had asked last evening for us to add in there. And Scott, myself, Steve, and Rick went back and looked at all of our notes from a few years ago. And I'm looking for some more direction from the commissioners as to what they want to do with this. Because the work we had done a few years ago, it was, the added expense cost was about $143,000. And then someone had projected you would need a couple more clerical positions. And I asked the commissioners, to me, this is an ongoing operational expense. You would ask for it to be placed in there. I picked that number just based off of these figures we had from 2022. That figure is definitely going to need to be vetted, and I need better direction from the commissioners as to what they want there.
Jim, so are they looking to just create more timely cash flow, or how, what's the background behind moving to monthly billing?
From what I recall, the concern was some people should have smaller bills to allow for better cash flows for the families. And some of the commissioners would like that to happen. They've been asking for it for a few years. Did I miss anything on that? Yes? No.
So, and the other goes probably best for Mr. Abbott, is when bills are calculated for the various tiers, do they take the monthly usage and annualize it? Or they say fiscal year to date, you've used X, which puts you in this tier?
We read meters every 90 days, give or take a day or so, and the amount the cubic feet that you use in that quarter go up against the rate. So 0 to 1,500 cubic feet is in tier 1, has one rate. If you use 1,501 gallon up to 2,400.
So the tiers are set on a 90-day cycle?
Right.
Gotcha, okay. And if we went to monthly, you'd be modifying your tiers to 30-day cycles?
We'd have to definitely change that.
Okay.
Right now, there's two commissioners are very interested in that, and others it's either, I don't care, but it's gonna cost you. There is a cost to doing something that you're doing 4 times a year, doing it 12 times.
I was thinking if it was on trying to get the bills out more timely and get the cash in quicker. It's tough to turn around and say, well, we're gonna do estimated billing, because you're not looking at it on a year in total, you're looking at it on each individual quarter basis.
I think there's also an issue from the collector's office that a bill might not be, you still have time to pay the bill. I'm not sure if Lisa was, because she'd be able to explain that the short problem, a bill might not be due, but the next bill is already coming out and might
Right.
show that it was past due when in fact I still had time to go.
Right, on a monthly basis billing,
Yes.
yes.
I can tell you from the finance department, cash flow is not a concern.
Okay.
The other issue that we have is, right now it takes us about 30 days from the time we read the meter to get an entire cycle out. And, without either adding additional people or changing our, how we collect the information. It's difficult to do, given the current way we read the meters through radio waves.
Would it be quicker if certain cycles would have an estimated billing, and that one quarter would be a short period, and then the next one would be the actual? So, you know, half the groups are on cycle for the readings, and the other ones are on estimated cycles, and move it that way?
Estimated cycles cause a problem in that.
With the tier system.
Well, yes. I mean, the tier system really depends on you having a standard fixed size cycle. An example would be if you used 2,000 cubic feet in 6 months and I use 2,000 cubic feet in 90 days, the rate would come out the same, except for your took longer, so yours would actually, you get part of it in tier two rates.
Gotcha.
So it's key to really have a fixed cycle.
Okay. Thank you.
Sue?
I just, following up on that, so has the decision been made to go to monthly billing?
No.
Okay, it's still being bandied about.
It's being investigated.
They asked us to include it in the capital plan, and I included it in the capital plan.
And is there any information behind the 301 vote on the capital improvement plan?
He didn't, the commissioner did not explain to me why he abstained. Did he, to either one of you guys? No.
No.
All right. Anyone have anything else? Pretty quick.
All set with sewer and water. Maybe Jim has an update for us.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay, see you March 25th. I
Anything
think
else for us, Jim?
for the most part, we are good to go. We'll have some recommendations for you on the first few articles. It's FY '24 and '25 budgets, if any adjustments, and then Article 14, this is citizens petition on the 25th. So, yeah, more to come.
Thank you.
It'll be a quick town meeting.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn by Mark and second by Kathleen. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained? Thank you very much.
Thanks.